So leading up to the election, a whole lot of us were making our predictions about how MAGA would go about spinning things if Donald Trump got reelected, and then their lives weren't any better at all. And I had several guests here on the channel, and I would ask them, what do you think they're going to do if he wins? How do you think that they are going to react when their life doesn't miraculously get better on day one? And a lot of people said, well, they'll just blame it on Joe Biden. They'll say it's Joe Biden's fault. And we saw a whole lot of them do just that. Some people said, like Coach D said, you know what will happen, man? He said that when he gets in there, he said nothing's going to get better for him. He said things are going to get worse. He said, but they will sit there and immediately say that everything is automatically better, that America is already great again. And I agree with that and said, yeah, I could absolutely see them doing that. And a whole lot of them have. A whole lot of them do say that it's better than ever. It's been the greatest 100 days in the history of the world. Well, for those of us that don't live in that alternate reality, for those of us that live in the real world, we see what's really going on. We see how things are going. It's not going their way. This isn't what they voted for. But Trump just rears back and says, no, this is exactly what you signed up for. And I don't normally like playing clips of him here on the channel. The only reason I'm doing it for this video, really, folks, is because I love to show him when he is absolutely rubbing his followers' noses in shit. And watch him tell them that, yeah, this is what you signed up for. Take a look.
Even some people who voted for you saying, I didn't sign up for this. So how do you answer those concerns?
Well, they did sign up for it, actually, and this is what I campaigned on. I said that we've been abused by other countries at levels that nobody's ever seen before.
As bad as I hate to say it, he did campaign on a whole lot of things that now his followers can't believe that he was serious about. They was going around saying, I don't think he'll gut the Department of Education. No, he was saying the entire time that he was going to. He was talking about taking away Social Security and Medicare and cutting those things. He talked about it all the way through the campaign, and he did talk about the border and getting people out. And I don't ever remember him saying we'll do it, we'll give them due process or any of those things. So in a lot of ways, yeah, he is doing exactly what that he told them he was going to do, and they just didn't think he'd actually do that, which again is the weirdest political stance I've ever seen. I'm going to vote for this guy who is saying things that I don't like. I don't agree with him saying he'll terminate the Constitution. I don't want him to be a dictator on day one, but I'm going to vote for him anyway because I don't think he would actually do that. That will always be the weirdest take and stance I've ever seen on it. But he absolutely did run on bringing prices down on day one. He said that they would see prices falling on day one, and they haven't, and they're not, no matter how much of an alternate reality he lives in. And he will hold up the hoops and the mental gymnastics, and they will all jump through. Yeah, prices are getting lower, and they're absolutely not. But take a look at this interview, because again, watch him say one thing and come right behind it. He comes right behind it and contradicts himself. Take a look.
Already going up on some popular items, tires, strollers.
This is such a dishonest interview already. Prices are down on groceries. Prices are down for oil. Prices are down for all energy. Prices are down at tremendous numbers for gasoline. And let me tell you, when you have the big thing, what he did, he spent like a stupid person, which he was, but he spent like a very stupid person. And that was bad for inflation. But what really killed us with inflation was the price of energy. It went up to $3.90, even $4, and in California, $5 and $6, right? Okay. I have it down to $1.98 in many states right now. When you go that much lower on energy, which is ahead of my prediction, because I really thought I could get it down into the 250s. We have it down at $1.98 in numerous places. But when you say costs are going up, even mortgage rates are going down.
Well, but let me give you some examples. These are actual examples. So you're saying the prices that are going down, some prices are going up. Tires, strollers, some clothing in the wake of your tariffs.
Excuse me, that's peanuts compared to energy. Energy is 60% of the cost.
But sir, you campaigned on a promise to bring prices down on day
Well, I don't know. When you say strollers are going up, what kind of a thing? I'm saying that gasoline is going down. Gasoline is thousands of times more important than a stroller someplace.
But what do you say to Americans who say they voted for you because they want and they need relief right now?
And they're getting it.
So first of all, prices aren't going down, and I really do get annoyed watching these interviews where they really don't push back on him, really. They just let him continue to say that. And then he says to them, well, this is a very dishonest interview. And the reason he says that's because he's already got his flock brainwashed into believing that she's fake news. He's already got that up. He's already got that one up on her. So he's going to say that so that they won't believe anything that she's saying. But when he said gas was $1.98 a gallon, and he's been saying that now for a while, I kind of did a double take. Like, really? Wait, are you really saying that out loud? And every source that I have found, every fact-checking source that I have found out there says that that is not true. And I'm going to read you an article here. I know he would say it. I know the trolls are going to say, but you're over here, you're sharing this from the fake news. But you can look this up all across the internet, and you can find multiple sources that will say the same thing, that basically Trump keeps making it up when it comes to these fact checks. So let's right here, fact check. Trump keeps making up gas prices. This was 2 days ago on, this was posted on Friday. So 2 weeks ago, Trump falsely claimed that a couple of states had just seen gas prices fall to $1.98 per gallon. That's not even close to true. No state has an average lower than about $2.70 per gallon, and there's no evidence of any individual station was offering gas for under $2. But the next day, Trump said 3 states had just hit the $1.98 a gallon, which was also far from the truth. Trump repeated this inaccurate assertion about $1.98 states at least 3 times this week. And during a commencement address at the University of Alabama on Thursday, he used an even lower figure. Gasoline prices have just hit $1.88 a gallon in 3 states, Trump said. Can you believe it? Well, you can't believe it, or at least you shouldn't, because the national average on Thursday was about $3.19 per gallon, according to the AAA, and the lowest Thursday average in any state was about $2.66 per gallon in Mississippi. And here where I live, in the small town I'm in, gas is around $2.50. It's somewhere in the ballpark, anywhere between $2.40 and $2.60, somewhere in there is pretty much where that it's at. But the one thing that always annoys me anytime someone tries to use gas for their talking point to criticize any president for that matter is, when Joe Biden was in office, they would go to the poorest places. They would go to the poorest places in Tennessee or Mississippi to say when Trump was in office, he had gas down this low. And then they would go to the highest place in California and say that's how high Biden had it when he was in office. So it's always been a dishonest conversation when it comes to gas prices. That conversation is, they always use the lowest number to their advantage, but $1.98, $1.88 isn't happening anywhere. It's bullshit, and you'll never really see these people press too hard and call him out, because I'm sure then there would be lawsuits coming their way, because that's the type of North Korean bullshit we live in now. That anybody that rocks the boat or disagrees with him, he is going to come after him somewhere or another and try to shut them up. We'll have another video we'll be doing later is talking about how that, he's even suggesting now expelling Democrats who disagree with him, because they don't believe in democracy, folks. They never have and they never will. But I want to play one final clip here, and I'll try not to do it in the future videos. But watch how he goes off on this ridiculous conversation about dolls, about little girls having dolls. And he says they don't have to have 30 dolls. They can just have 1 or 2, because prices are going to go up on those dolls thanks to tariffs. But no, prices are going to make us rich. This guy, here's the mental gymnastics. Here it is. And he just moves the hoop. And the people that jumps through it will leave me scratching my head till I'm an old man. But take a look.
I want to ask you about something you said this week. Got a lot of attention. You were at your cabinet meeting. You said, quote, I'm going to quote what you said, maybe the children will have 2 dolls instead of 30 dolls.
Yeah.
And maybe the 2 dolls will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally. Are you saying that your tariffs will cause some prices to go up?
No, I think the tariffs are going to be great for us because it's going to make us rich.
But you said some dolls are going to cost more. Isn't that an acknowledgement that some prices will go up?
I don't think a beautiful baby girl that's 11 years old needs to have 30 dolls. I think they can have 3 dolls or 4 dolls. Because what we were doing with China was just unbelievable. We had a trade deficit of hundreds of billions of dollars with China.
When you say they could have $3 instead of $30, are you saying
they don't need to have
Americans could
$30.
see empty store shelves?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they don't need to have $30. They can have 3. They don't need to have 250 pencils. They can have 5.
But you're basically saying there could be some supply shortages because of the
we don't have to
tariffs.
waste money on a trade deficit with China for things we don't need, for junk that we don't need.
Well,
The only ones getting rich here is he and his billionaire buddies. And he always says, it's going to make us all rich. We're all going to be so rich over this. It's not me and you folks. It's not us that's going to get rich. It's people like him who's going to continue to get richer. But it's hilarious to me how he says, well, you're not going to be able to buy as many dolls. You're not going to be able to buy as many because the prices are going to be down, but you can get it by with just 2. You don't have to have 30 of them, which honestly, I don't think my daughter ever had $30 in her entire life. My boys had quite a few WWE action figures because everybody in the family would buy them one for birthdays and Christmas and good report cards. But it's just so ridiculous the lengths this guy will go to, and the fact that people will sit back and watch him. And they'll hear him say this, and he will rub their face in their own shit, and they'll sit there and they'll eat it. He did not fulfill the promises of bringing down the prices on day one. He did not fulfill the promise of ending the war in Ukraine as president-elect. And anytime you try to hold his feet to the fire, buddy, they find a way to just roll with it and say, well, now that ain't what he meant. It's okay. We're just going to have to buckle down and pay these higher prices. Times are going to get tough. We're going to have to go through a little bit of suffering. And there have been times in the past where we have realized, and I think a lot of us knew, that coming out of the pandemic was not going to be easy. And we had a guy like Joe Biden who was trying to bring us out of there and did a damn good job of bringing us back from the brink of destruction that we were on with Donald Trump. But the things that Joe Biden was putting into place was going to take some time because we were coming back from a catastrophic event. So I'm not saying that there's ever been a time in history. There absolutely has been times when when FDR brought us out of the Great Depression. He said, we're going to have to make some sacrifices. Those things happen. But this guy made all of these promises, and the only 2 that he fully kept was he'd be dictator on day 1 and he'd terminate the Constitution anytime he sees fit, because he just throws away court decisions like they're garbage, doesn't listen to them, wants to expel Democrats he disagrees with, wants to arrest judges. Anyone that tries to call him out on his bullshit gets called dishonest interviews and fake news. And the followers are now saying, well, yeah, we're just going to have to pay some higher prices for a while till Daddy Trump gets this. And they actually do call him Daddy, till Daddy Trump gets this all fixed for us. So that's the type of people we're up against. And what you got to understand is those type of people, folks, are fired up and they're ready to vote. They cannot wait to get out and vote again. So you have to keep that in mind, and you have to stop and think about what it is that we're up against and get more people out there encouraged to get out and vote against this insanity. And maybe we can start to turn it around if we're allowed to have elections when the time comes. But I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I mean, anybody that would arrest judges, anybody that would go after journalists, anybody that would, eliminate due process, I worry about it. I do. I'm not going to lie. But hopefully, if we get enough people together that keep standing up against this, and hopefully if enough MAGA begins to finally wake up, and some are. I mean, there are a few, and they have been some over the years that have dropped off. But man, the ones that have hung in there at this point in the game, they're truly, truly dedicated. I mean, they're like the Susan Atkins to Charles Manson, man. They're a loyal soldier at this point. So it'll be hard to get them away from it. But we just have to keep bringing the truth, keep calling out the bullshit. Let him say fake news, let him say dishonest all he wants to. He can say those things. But when people go to the grocery store, they see their grocery bill. And to any troll that hung in to the end of this video that's mad about everything I said, go grocery shopping and tell me how it worked out for you.